What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, and I'm here to give you a 2-night review of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. I decided to wait after SmackDown to review this. Now, before you guys ask me, what the hell, where were you to review NXT TakeOver? Let me just tell you what happened. So, on Tuesday, I got vaccinated. I got my final COVID vaccination. And this is not something to mess around with. Like, this thing really like fucks you up. Like, you feel like shit for a while. I'm not saying don't take it. I'm just saying that's what's gonna happen when you take it. It's gonna make you feel like shit, and it really hurt. It really messes you up. But nothing to be worried about. You'll be fine. Hopefully, I would recommend you guys to like take it. It's worth it if you have like any like heart disease or cancer. Like, obviously for your safety, don't take it. But I think it's a safe bet. It's worth it. I mean, I feel much better now, so don't worry about me. I'll be fine. But yeah, I was just resting, and I just like couldn't really do much. Because you really do gotta rest for most of it. Anyways, I still wanted to give you guys a proper NXT Takeover review, and I just decided to put them both because honestly, you could have put both of these cards together, and it would have been a solid. Honestly, if you move some stuff around and build this up a little bit better, I guarantee you this would have been one of the best NXT Takeovers of all time as one show. Honestly, if you look at night two, remove the women's tag team championship match, put Io and Raquel on there, and you honestly have one of the best takeovers ever. There's really nothing else you can move out of it. But I guess you want to fit in everybody because there is more belts than expected. There is more reasoning for you to like sit through all of it. So yeah, let's just talk about it. Pete Dunn and Kushida, it was honestly a good match, not a great match. It deserved to be, honestly, if this was New Japan, even NXT UK, I don't know, this style of Kushida is just not working. Like, this is not the Kushida I remember. Like, they even took off all of his Back to the Future stuffs. Like wow, like Kushida's one of the few guys that have failed in NXT, and let's be honest, he's gonna fail in the main roster. So honestly, Kushida, I recommend you guys, like, once the pandemic dies down, we could travel again. I do recommend Kushida to go back to Japan or even ROH, something. I'm not saying go to AEW because AEW, fuck AEW. That's my final result to that. But yeah, Kushida's just not the same in NXT, like, and that's okay. Like, not everybody's meant to be on NXT. Not everybody's meant to be on the WWE. Like, look at guys like Jeremiah Crane. Remember when he was Solomon Crow the hacker? Yeah, he just wasn't meant to be. Bo Dempsey, that's another one. Trying to think of a few names, like, but you get what I mean. Not everybody was built for WWE, and it proves that in NXT. Hideo Itami, Kenta, that's another one. You know, that guy is easily one of the biggest top draws in New Japan, and he just didn't do so good in NXT. Prior to that was his injuries, but that wasn't really his fault. It's just wrong place, wrong time. But yeah, this match was solid. It was pretty good. Pete Dunne won. Obviously, this was obviously gonna happen. Oh, I forgot to mention that Nina Strauss, America the Beautiful, was awesome. And then I forgot who performed at night two, but it was good. The performance for night two. I don't really follow that music as much. Rock music has been a little bit different than most times. Like, it seems like all of the rock songs nowadays are like that song, the just fucking screaming and shit. But that's, I mean, some people love it. I'm not one of those people. Like, I rather like go back to old school classic rock. So that's just me. 6-man gauntlet eliminator match. Honestly, I thought this was gonna be a bad match. It's actually not that bad. There's only one problem. This was not a gauntlet eliminator match. This was a Royal Rumble mixed with a little bit of Aztec warfare. That's really what it was, because a gauntlet match is two people fight. Whoever wins that match, the next person comes in and then you fight. This was built like a Royal Rumble. It even like there was a part where like they all eliminate each other and out of the ring, and so no one's in the ring. But yeah, it was still pretty good. It was pretty solid. It started with Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff fighting before the match even starts. Then it was I believe it was Bronson Reed, Thick Boy. Then it was Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis, then LA Knight. This was a good way of like developing your mid card division. I just personally wish they did this for TV, um not the card itself. And then now you're more invested, like, oh shit, who's gonna face Johnny Gargano? But it was kind of like I wasn't excited for anything for Johnny Gargano because there was nobody really realistic that could have fought him out of these six guys. And everybody thought it was going to be Dexter Loomis. Thank God it wasn't Dexter Loomis, because this guy is bland as shit. I think they finally understood that. And they ended up giving it to Bronson Reed, a baby face who we all like. So thank goodness for that. Walter defeated Tommaso Ciampa, and easily the match of the night for night one, at least. This was just a great like knockout match. This brought back the Tommaso Ciampa I used to grow up to enjoy when he was feuding with Johnny Gargano and the Undisputed Era. This was the Tommaso Ciampa that we all needed, and I'm glad that he's back. There was one silly moment where Walter hits the announce table, and I guess the point was that it was supposed to break, but then they end up ripping off the sticker for the NXT Takeover. It was silly. That was about it. It was just your typical will he, won't he beat Walter. And Walter's honestly pretty good at being a giant. This was basically how Braun Strowman, Mark Henry, Big Show, like this is a perfect way of making a big guy eligible. Don't make him constantly sell to everything. Like this guy, Walter, like even though he lost majority of the year last year because he couldn't compete in the UK, he couldn't really travel, he couldn't do anything. So he's gonna have to bring his A game. He had a classic with Ilja Dragunov, easily his best match in the roster. Like it's either that or his match with Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate. Those three matches are fantastic, and this one is right there up there with those three matches. And Walter won, rightfully so. I think Walter should keep it on. And I don't know who's gonna drop it to. Maybe he'll drop it to Finn Balor. There's that possibility. But Walter had a great match, best match of the night. Just a stiff brawl with two guys that we all like. Oh, I forgot her name, but Taya Valkyrie is coming back. There's a segment where like it's a dog walking on the ring, and then this woman picks it up, and it turns out to be Taya Valkyrie. So Taya Valkyrie, everybody's coming to NXT, rightfully so. They need a good women's division, and based on where the women's division's going, I think we're gonna need a Taya Valkyrie. MSK defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans and Legados del Fantasma. Another great match. MSK, just two great, like, super, like, cruiserweights, just bouncing everywhere, just doing everything. And they're entertaining as shit. They got the WWE feel of it, like, not just being great wrestlers. They got charisma, they got value, and they are entertaining. The Grizzled Young Vets are another tag team that I always like. Just three guys, three tag teams that all fit in Legados del Fantasma. Clearly, the WWE, not just Triple H, but even Vince, loves the Latino community. So they really want to make the next Rey Mysterio and stuff like that. They've tried multiple times, but it never worked out. But it seems like they're trying more and more. And yeah, this match was pretty good, not great. Uh, I will say this: I wish the Grizzled Young Veterans won, because who is MSK gonna fight next? Like, or well, they're gonna face Brizongo, from what I hear. Fine, but I would rather much see Grizzled Young Veterans versus the MSK. Honestly, for the rest of the year. They could have carried the tag team division for the remaining of the year. They could have had matches with honestly everybody. Uh, yeah, those two teams are like the best tag teams of uh, of this generation or this year alone. But I'm excited to see where they go from here. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Io Shirai. Now, a lot of people either hate this match or love this match. This was a good match, but it was definitely odd to see Raquel Gonzalez win because everybody said that she's generic. She's the next Nia Jax. She is not that bad. At least Raquel Gonzalez learned how to be careful. Like, I remember her debut, she threw Tegan Knox on a table, and Tegan Knox hit her head on the side of the table. Okay, that was bad. But over time, it seems like Raquel got the gist of being a big heel. So I don't see Raquel necessarily getting worse, and she's not a fucking bitch. So I respect that about Raquel Gonzalez. She's not a bitch, and she just wants to do this because she loves doing it. She's not Nia Jax, where she's entitled because she's related to The Rock, and everybody who's related to The Rock has to be on TV despite having no charisma. I'm not talking about you, Roman Reigns, but I'm talking about a lot of your family members, mainly that fat bitch of a cousin you have. But anyways, Raquel Gonzalez wins. Uh Honestly, I'm glad about this. Like, I couldn't buy Io losing uh or beating Raquel. It's like someone eventually had to beat her, and why not be a big monster? And who now in your head is like, who the hell is gonna beat her? Will it be Taya Valkyrie? Will it be Ember Moon? Will it be Candice LeRae, Shanti Blackheart, Dakota Kai? Will she turn on her? Tegan Knox may come back. Who knows? But now I'm invested. I want to see who's going to take the belt off of her. And I'm glad they're moving to Tuesdays because this hopefully means for a new change for NXT for the better. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Um, yeah, so we got Santos Escobar beating Jordan Devlin for the undisputed cruiserweight championship. I really thought Jordan Devlin was gonna win. I think they just gave up on the Jordan Devlin, especially because if you guys don't remember, part of the speaking out on WWE, all the people who got accused, Jordan Devlin was one of them. I wouldn't be shocked that that was the reason why. But everybody was hot for Jordan Devlin to win. Honestly, I'm a little bit happy that Santos Escobar won, not because he's Mexican, but or of Mexican descent. Sorry, but because he just has a more better look and physique. Jordan Devlin, I just see a super skinny Finn Balor. I'm sorry, that's what I see when I look at Jordan Devlin. At least Santos Escobar has a different look and feel to him. If I had it my way, I would have Ricochet return to NXT and then he dethrone Santos Escobar and then make the Cruiserweight Championship around Ricochet. Who knows what will happen, but I want to see where this goes. And it was a good ladder match, not a great ladder match. It wasn't your typical like bring in a million ladders to do all these high spots. No, this was honestly, it started off with like just both of them fighting each other one on one like a regular match, and then they brought in the ladders, which it seems like more WWE ladder matches are doing this more often. It started back in 2015 with Ambrose and Rollins, and I'm glad that they're bringing in this style. Not every ladder match has to involve a shit ton of ladders or just weapons out of nowhere. So it's good to do a change. Not every ladder match has to be the same. I'm glad that matches like this still could happen. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defeated Candice LeRae and India Hartwell. I hate this. The NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, like, it's just so lame. Like, if they were gonna do this, why didn't they just have honestly, why didn't they just have Asuka and Charlotte get dethroned by a tag team in on NXT, and then from there you could build a new division from for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships instead of just making more belts, because that just makes it more complicated and more stupid. So yeah, I didn't like it. And that's the problem, because we have so many belts, and these belts are gonna take a while to get used to. It's gonna take a while for people to like this new change. So I recommend, honestly, just if they're gonna have more belts, then take off at least a different belt. Like, get rid of the North American Championship, to be honest, because the North American Championship picture is kind of lame. No offense, Johnny Gargano's doing the best he can as a heel, but he just doesn't work as a heel. And honestly, based on like the match that he got against the Gauntlet Eliminator, Bronson Reed should have won this. But I'm a little relieved because at the same time, how many times are we gonna have to see someone win a number one contender match one night and then the next night he or she wins the belt? It's a good change, and maybe this feud isn't over. Let's hope that this feud isn't over and then we have a proper rematch, maybe a no disqualification between Gargano and Reed. Because I think Bronson Reed has a bright future ahead of himself. They just need to keep investing and keep putting in the work for this man. He has solid promos. He has a look. He is charismatic. Like, it's one of those rare big men that we have. He's basically Otis if he wasn't so comedic. Because Otis, I like Otis, but he is pretty damn comedic. This is like a more serious type of chunky thick boy. He's funny, but he's more of the serious type. If that makes sense. Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano, they honestly make a good team. But if they're gonna do this, I'd rather have him be in the tag team division, not the North American title picture. And I swear, like Johnny needs to turn babyface or go to the main roster because what else is there left to do for Johnny Gargano other than lose that damn belt? There really is nothing left. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Karrion Kross defeated Finn Balor. Now this was a really weird match. I was actually expecting a squash match because that's what we've been getting with Karrion Kross. It happened when he squashed Tommaso Ciampa. I said to myself, he's gonna squash whoever he faces next, and sure enough, that is what happened. He ended up facing Keith Lee at NXT 30. It was a okay match, but you could tell that Karrion Kross wasn't quite ready, and especially because we knew that Keith Lee was going to the main roster, which pissed off everybody. And Karrion Kross got the NXT title a little bit sooner than later, and he ended up dropping the belt. Finn Balor won it, and Finn Balor went on an incredible winning spree with classics with Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, baby, and even Pete Dunne. And now it's time for Karrion Kross to redeem the belt he never lost. And this was a really good match once again. It was a little bit weird seeing Karrion Kross get the underhand because like he barely sold for Keith Lee, but he definitely sold for Finn Balor. Not saying honestly, Finn Balor is a better wrestler than Keith Lee. That's my personal opinion. But realistically, physically looking at someone, you should be not selling as much for a Finn Balor than you are a Keith Lee. I noticed little details like that, and it's kind of annoying. I know, but it was still a good match. Eventually ends with Finn Balor dropping the belt to Karrion Kross once again, and maybe Karrion Kross will grow on me once again. But I'm not saying Karrion Kross should have lost, but I guarantee you, Karrion Kross is main roster ready. Like he could be one of those few guys that is better on the main roster than on NXT. Like it's rare, but like some people could do it. Drew McIntyre is a great example. He even was the NXT champion, one of the weakest NXT champions in my view. But damn, when he came to the WWE, the main roster, this guy was on top. And I guarantee you, Karrion Kross could do that. Rhea Ripley could have done that if she didn't stay in NXT for as long as she did. But yeah, Karrion Kross, I'm glad that he's NXT champion. I'm glad he's gonna get the proper run that he deserved. And as far as Finn Balor, I don't know why, but I have a feeling that they're gonna play a game where Almost gets injured right before the match against the New Day, and then AJ Styles needs to find a tag team partner, and then it's gonna be AJ and Finn. I wouldn't be shocked if they do that. It honestly would have been so much better because, let's be honest, no one's expecting Almost to have a great match ever. If they do that twist, I'm all for it because I want to see Finn and AJ run the tag team division and then eventually turn on each other and then have a proper storyline and a proper match which they deserve for a while. So let's hope that happens. Because what is there left for Finn Balor to do? He did what he was supposed to do, and that is to bring in more eyes glued to NXT. However, there is another suggestion. What if Finn Balor finally gets his match with Walter? There was talks of so before the pandemic, Walter and Finn were feuding, and they were supposed to face at the UK Takeover that was to come, and we never got that because COVID. Walter was in quarantine. Finn Balor was in Orlando, so it worked out for Finn as far as being the face of NXT once again. But now, what if he's the face of the UK division? Because NXT UK, as great as people saying it is, Finn Balor could get some eyes on that division. Because let's be real, what's there left to do? Um, Honestly, let's do it. Do Finn and Walter. Finn goes over. You bring new eyes to the NXT, and hell, maybe Walter could go to the main roster. I don't know. There's so much stuff to do with NXT now that it's moving to Tuesdays. There's an even bigger roster, more superstars or more independent wrestlers are getting picked up. There's even talks that Andrade might come back to NXT. Aleister Black, maybe. That's just wishful thinking, but there's a lot that I'm excited for to see when it comes to NXT now. I'm very excited. I mean, hopefully, we're going back to the old roots of NXT, where it's just all about developing new characters and having just fun. And that is what the main event of this show did, and that is to have some fun. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match. This was a long ass match, I will admit, and it was still pretty good based on the story that I told. I thought it did its job very, very well. It wasn't the best match that these guys could have delivered. If you trimmed the match up a little bit, it would have been great. But I'm glad that we finally got it, and Kyle O'Reilly won. I think there's talks that he's gonna be the new face of the Undisputed Era, or they're gonna kill off the Undisputed Era because Bobby Fish is too injury prone. He might be even done with WWE in general. Roderick Strong could honestly go on a singles run. Hell, Roderick Strong could dethrone Johnny Gargano if they wanted to. And then Kyle O'Reilly, there's talks of him going to back to the NXT title picture. I don't know if he could face Karrion Kross and beat him, but I'm excited now. I really am, and I'm glad that this match finally happened. And damn, it was about time that the Undisputed Era ended because it had to end at some point, and they finally did it, and it felt right. It felt like it was a great closure to a great story, and it was just awesome. And this is what I miss about NXT. It's stories, it's hard work, and it's willing to try to do something different than Raw and SmackDown. So I'm happy that we're getting this type of NXT. Let's bring back this feel to NXT back. There was still some couple misses for both nights, mainly the gauntlet match. I felt like that should have happened on TV and then work its way up. Well, technically it did happen on TV, but it shouldn't have been a takeover. And I don't know how I feel about it. Hopefully this is the only time NXT takeover is a 2-night event. Because then if you constantly do it, it's overkill. With WrestleMania, it only happens once a year. Takeovers happen every 3 months, so let's not overkill it with the 2-night event. Anyways, that is my thoughts on NXT Takeover Stand and Delivers Night 1 and 2. What did you guys think? My favorite match of the night was easily Cole and O'Reilly. Or Ciampa and Walter. One of those two. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with Walter and Tommaso Ciampa because that one did its job of being at the right time, right place. Like it didn't drag for as long as it did, and it told the right story. So I'm gonna go with Walter and Ciampa. That was my match of NXT for both nights. For night one, it was definitely that one, and night two, I guess it would be O'Reilly and Cole. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out. See you for WrestleMania.